It is Magna Search Group. Big Game Hunters. Jason Berard, Landon Hood. We're coming to you again. Last episode was on about the questions you ask before leaving your current employer.
Important questions to ask yourself.
This week is the question you need to ask yourself before taking on that new job.
Well, now that you quit your job, you should probably start thinking about what job you're going to accept.
You dropped Landon. You don't have to work with Landon anymore. Now what do you got to ask before making sure you take the right opportunity for where you're going next? So we're going to outline, how many you want to outline? 10, I think 10 or 8, 5.
Somewhere in there, 5.
Yeah, probably 5.
I mean, there's a lot of subsections within there.
5 questions.
There's a lot of questions you got to ask yourself.
5 questions you got to ask yourself before taking the next job.
5 questions.
We're excited. Okay, so the question number 1, Landon, go ahead.
Well, I think some of the basics you got to look at is what exactly is expected of you entering into a new job. So what will you be doing every day?
Day to day.
What is the employer who's offering you this job expecting you? What are their goals? What are they expecting out of your performance, and what will be measured, and how will your performance be measured? Sort of the basics of what you have to look at. Really take a long sort of overview of the perspective of the opportunity.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that you clearly understand what you're going to be doing and how you're going to be doing it.
Yeah, like, am I comfortable with the general scope of
Does it align with
responsibility?
my skill set?
Yeah, as well as, does it provide me with a challenge to enhance my skill set?
Absolutely.
And you go through the interview process and you really understand that the whole way through, and you want to get those questions answered. But we're talking about paperwork's in front of you, numbers are there, everything, the whole package is in front of you. At that point, that's when you really have that self-assessment saying, I'm a signature away from taking this, so am I comfortable? Am I going to have the growth opportunities? And am I ready to go? Because once I sign this paperwork, I'm not a flaky person. I'm signing, I'm going, we're hitting the ground running. So that's question number 1.
Yeah.
Can I do the job comfortably, but also can it provide me the challenges that I'm looking for right now?
Yeah, no, that's important to look at, because as you mentioned, like, if you enter into a new opportunity, it's just, don't take a job just because it's there. Don't take a job because you need a job. If you wait a couple months, a better opportunity comes up, you really want to make sure that you wait for the right fit, because it's a frustration dealing with leaving and going back, and then your resume has all these random things. You want to make sure it's the right fit, and you have to do your due diligence. Don't just read the job description, and this goes into one of our other points in terms of what questions you ask yourself is, do you know the boss? I mean, have you really spent time dealing
That's
with
question number 2.
Yeah.
Hiring manager, boss.
Yeah. So when you're dealing with a hiring manager, have you met the boss who you're going to be reporting to? How much time have you spent with them? Do you respect them? Do you feel like their vision aligns with yours? So you really want to make sure, because people talk about people don't quit jobs, they quit their bosses. You're going to be dealing with this person every day. They're going to be the one who sets ultimately the expectations for you. So you want to make sure that you're on the same playing field with them. You
Dive into their experience a bit too, because what you're really looking for in that person who you're going to be reporting to is, more than just a learning curve from that person, is you're really looking for a mentorship too. I think a mentorship is one of the most important things that people have in their careers, and ultimately your direct hiring manager or boss is gonna be someone who has a very strong influence in your professional career. So, dive into their profile a bit. Are you gonna be able to learn from that person to be able to propel you to your next opportunity 2 to 3 years from now?
Did they take a similar path as you? I mean, is that somebody you can really learn from and somebody you can really, mold yourself after? Are they going to be a resource for you? Are they going to be accessible to you in your day-to-day? Even things like asking some of the current employees, reaching out to some of the current employees at that job and saying, hey, how is it working with X? You want to be careful about that, but you also want to make sure you have a good idea of what the work environment's going to be like.
And just, right in the middle of the pack, I like to just, we're going to rapid fire a couple questions that people have to ask, what are the benefits? What's my...
Yeah, right, benefits package, because some people don't realize the benefits package can vary, it varies widely from company to company.
In Vancouver, I'm originally from Winnipeg. Vancouver, there's MSP, which we don't have to pay anywhere else in Canada, I think. Definitely not Winnipeg, but here it's like $60 to $70 a month.
Yeah,
that's
depending.
That's one that you want to ask if they cover it, because I'm again new to that. But so MSP, what kind of benefits is it? What is the working hours?
In the U.S., what are 401k contributions? Here, it's what are your pension plan contributions? Will they do they have a pension plan? Do they have RSP matching? That sort of thing. Look at their overall benefits. They'll have, pretty much all companies will have a page overviewing their benefits. Take a look at that. Don't just say, okay, 80% dental, 100% medical, suite, or whatever it is. You want to take a look at all the details, because you can really save yourself a lot of money doing that.
That'll be in paper too, right? You could say, can I see your benefits plan before I sign anything, which you should. The other one in terms of this rapid fire is usually you'll have your vacation on there, on your offer package, but you also want to know, it's a big one, because are there any personal time off days or sick days? How many days are allowed per year for personal days or sick days? It's important because it is paid time off. It's not there for you to take a vacation, but it's there, and it's important that you know that
how flexible are they with that? And that extends to flexibility in work schedule and flexibility to work from home. Do you have kids? Do you have to take those things into consideration? Those things, you might not ask outright, and it's going to be touchy asking, can I work from home outright? But it's really important to want to know if that's something you would need. And then other financial considerations, like for instance, what is the commute? How much time in the day am I going to be commuting there? And what are the financial implications
what are my breaks?
Behind that?
What's my lunch break?
So take a big look, and you want to be thorough about it. I know it can be tough sometimes asking all these questions to somebody who's just offered you a job, and you don't want to seem too picky, but you want to be thorough, and people ultimately will respect that.
Yeah, and then the number 4, I think what people should always ask themselves, and this is like, again, part of the due diligence process that you're going through the process, or when you're going through the process is this going to be a company that I'm going to be proud to work at?
Absolutely.
I think that's so huge when someone's proud to say that they work with company X, like automatically your passion's going to come through in a lot of your work. You're going to be able to do more. And when you're like at a barbecue or like something like with your friends, people are like, oh, what do you do? You're like, well, let me tell you, I'm a project manager at company Y. Do you know what we do? Like, people are so excited about it. Or I'm a project manager.
I euthanize
company Z,
little rabbits. Like you want to make sure that the mission statement behind that company, and what your work that you do is you're proud of. If that company is killing little bunnies, for instance, or if that company is big oil and gas corporation, and you are an environmentalist, and you're just taking that job because you feel the money's there. I think that ultimately is just a bad call. I think you want to make sure that you are really believe in what the CEO or what the owner, what the executive team believes in, because it's going to be tough, to
I'm already thinking like, a lot of tech companies, for example, like, a lot of the pride comes from like what you're accomplishing in such a quick period of time.
Yeah.
And like, understanding that what they've done before you even get there in the door, like, wow, like this is so exciting.
It's easier to get yourself excited.
Don't just take a job.
Seems less like work when you're proud of what you're doing.
Career. Yeah, exactly.
No,
and
absolutely.
then so will I be proud there? Because what also, just one more touch on that point is, we talked about the motivation, the passion that's going to come through your work, and how, but it's really going to contribute to your overall happiness if you're truly proud to go to work every day. Doing Simon Sinek says it best. Working very hard at something that you don't really love is called stress, right? And working really hard at something that you love or that you're proud of is called passion. And just that fine line of difference is, the difference between someone who's happy and someone who's miserable. So really, can you be proud? Are you going to be proud working there? Question number 5.
I think question number 5 is, do you have to really look at what ultimately your goals, where you want to be, what is your dream situation, and can I ultimately move into my dream situation with this job? Where, if the 5 to 10 years question.
Does it fit my career storyboard?
Where do you see yourself in 10 years, and can that be here? Can you move up? Can you find that dream situation there?
Location. Maybe you don't want to work, maybe you want to stay put.
Yeah, is it a global company you can move?
Say you absolutely love Vancouver, you want to stay put here. Well, if you look throughout the company and positions that would be growth opportunities are all local, well, then that's great if you want to stay. Now, you might have to go to Toronto for another company to gain the experience in this position before even thinking about coming back here, and, family life, things like that. Those are things that you have to have that forward vision, but don't sweat too much about it, because you don't want to not take an opportunity that's so great besides that one point, but it really does have to fit into that.
Yeah, your career goals. And if
a glove.
And if you want to be a CEO in 15 years and you're taking on a role and you can see, hey, this does fit in with doesn't matter where it is, or maybe I'm in Calgary, maybe I'm in Chicago, and I'm taking a job right now that is leading towards an executive role. But if you're getting that experience there, location is something you can take into account later, because oftentimes early in your career especially, you can't be as picky about location. But just look at where your career's goals are, your family goals, your life goals, not just what you're doing in your job, but where you see yourself with kids, wife, all of that. Will you have that opportunity? I mean, if you're working in an industrial job that expects you to work 25, 30 years up north away from the cities, is that something you can see yourself doing? You have to really look at that. And for how long? Yeah.
And I think, this is a whole other show in itself, but, talking directly to the company, or if you're using an agency about, some of the negotiations. Right.
Yeah.
Never be afraid to ask for a bit more if you think it's being reasonable, because it might fit your thing, and that could be more salary, that could be more vacation, right? No one likes greed, and greed is going to come off very negatively. But when you're looking at that package and you look and your financial situation, your life situation, and $5,000 to $10,000 more would make a significant impact. Maybe it's a commute, things like that. Never be afraid to ask, because if you don't ask, you don't get it. And it's not like people are going to rescind the offer unless you come back and say I want $30,000 more. They'll be like,
No, exactly. And it's a lot easier to negotiate salary when you're entering a job than it is down the road. Rory and I discussed, how to ask for a raise, and we talked about how tough it can be. And, it's like pulling teeth sometimes. But, going into a job, you're in the best position to negotiate because they want you, see what you're worth, do the research, look what people in your area in the similar positions are making, and make sure you're getting paid what you're worth, because that's the time to do it.
And before we go today, fact of the day, coffee is for closers. We'll see you next week. Come back to the jungle. Hashtag MagnaOnAir. Big Game Hunters. Landon Hood.
Catch you
Jason
next time.
Berard. Catch you next time.